lovely day, and we're so excited and so happy. That's why we bring you good tidings on the show. Today's live on Echo Television Africa. I am Stella Elisha Dasham, as usual, No, I don't do this alone. I have with me two great and wonderful personalities with me here on the set. I have Lois Turaki and I also have engineer Tony J. Nakali. Good morning, Lois.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be looking at something very, very great. This topic is something that we've been saying it over and over, maybe consciously or unconsciously you've said it, but I don't know if you've really taken your time to really know what these words mean. And the topic we'll be looking at today is competence and performance. Competence and performance. And you know, Lloyd, this is a word that we've been saying over and over, especially when it comes to leadership, when it comes to employees, when it comes to even people in our life. You tend to hear people saying this person is not competent, you are not performing, you are not a performer, you don't do what is expected of you. So, and I really want us to really go deep into what these words mean, especially when it comes to leadership. I think these are part of the things we've been saying. We need a leader that is competent. And so when we say competence, because personally for me, when I hear the word competence, what comes to mind for me is the skill you have, the attitude you have, and also the ability for you, because it's one thing for you to know what to do, to be knowledgeable about something, and it's another thing for you to put that thing that you have known over time into action. So I think that competence is really something, performance is really something that we really need to look into it, because I know even at workplace, if you have a boss, it's expected that there are certain things he or she expects you to do, to be competent about it, and also after gathering whatever skill is it that you have, to be able to put it into action at the end of the day. I know most times we tend to hear that while performing, there are certain things that is also expected of you. It's not for you to be able to achieve a task, but there are some processes in the line of you achieving those things. What did you do? And I can remember there are times where Engineer Tony here would say it's not about you achieving something, but in the process of you achieving it, it's either you've spoiled something, you've made somebody angry, all in the process of you trying to achieve that assignment. So this is another thing that we also need to look into when it comes to being a performer, whether it's in your place of work, your relationship as a leader, because it's something that you cannot take in the process of life. These are things that is expected of you at one point or the other. So, well, Lois, I don't know, when you hear the word competence and performance, what comes to your mind?
I just it's competence to me is being adequate. How are you able to be able to do something that you're a task you have been given to, or at your workplace? How adequate are you in performing that? Okay, like I'm trying to use them interchangeably, but then competence is being adequate for me. Then for performance is achieving that thing that you're being adequate about. Since you're adequate, like how do you achieve that particular task that you have been given?
So I don't know, more to it.
She talked about being adequate, and I never saw competence from that point, and I'm seeing it this way this morning. Thank you very much, Lois, for giving me that enlightenment. Competence is adequacy. You look at it as from the point of having or being adequate to achieve something. Let's look at competence and performance. These two words, can one stand without the other? She said you have to be competent to perform, and you can't perform anything without competence except you perform foolishness or stupidity. You don't need to be competent to do these two things. They are natural habitations for people who don't care about life or achieving anything. But then let's look at competence, performance. You see, this word fuel is not is an English word for like propel, something that keeps you, something that propels you, something that keeps you moving. But what we use in the car is not fuel, it's just English word. It's called PMS. It's called prime motor spirit. What that means is the vehicle is there, but it can't perform without the spirit. See, so you must understand that the marriage between both words in this sense would have to be very, very like entangling. They have to be entangled, like they have to be together. Knowledge must play a very vital role. Why people perform from the beginning of any assignment, they get somewhere and then they get stuck and then they can't move forward, is because they have exhausted what they know. The driving force behind every performance is for you to be competent. And how do you get to be competent? If you are a driver, there are driving skills that are evolving every day. If you are a beautician, there are beauty skills or tips. A lot of things are evolving every day. So if you stay true to what you used to know that you learned 10 years ago, now 10 years in this world is a very long time compared to what it used to be in those days. If you understand what I mean. In those days, you'll find out that certain cars will be invoked for a long period of time. They will be invoked for a long period of time. Now, this year, you see a car. I'm talking about recent times. Now, this year, you see a car. The car has not gone anywhere. There's a newer version of it. Now, this newer version is not coming with speed alone. It comes with comfort. There are cars you can gist with now. There are cars you can, while you're driving, you can be talking and they're talking back at you. There are cars that you can program the road to your house. The car can direct you back every now and then. There are cars that don't use petroleum. There are cars that don't need a prime motor spirit. So the world is becoming an innovated place where you have to be innovative to live in it. Because the language everybody understands is, how can every process be simplified for people to enjoy life? That is just what the world is all about now. And then that's the reason why we're doing today's live in just Nigeria. But someone is in the US watching. Why? Because of what someone's innovations did. So you are at work. You don't have a new knowledge to explore. You'll be stagnant. There's nothing new to explore. So every day you come to work, that is why people get tired of work. That's why people get tired of work. Most of what gets people tired of work is not attitude. It's not people's attitude. It's not people's character. It's the drive that they suddenly stopped having. When you got the job, or you got the relationship, or you got the car, you have been doing a lot of things to keep it. Now you stop doing these things. What will keep the job for you? What will keep the relationship for you? What will keep the family for you? So if we are talking about competence and performance, this topic should have been competence to perform. You understand? But we can still talk about it. Yes, because you cannot not be competent and expect performance. That is why people come to Office of Position zealous. The first 100 days, they are eager to tell us what they have done. Thereafter, we stop hearing from them. Now, hearing from them regularly on the news with things that we are not bothered about is not hearing from them. It's just letting us know that they are still alive. They are still existing. But you see, there are governors in the same Nigeria, for instance, who came into office. They are still working, even though they know that they have less than a year. They are still working. There are governors that came, they didn't do jack, and they are still not doing jack. What happened to the people who have been working tirelessly? They have knowledge, Plus, they have surrounded themselves with people with knowledge that they can rely upon. So every day there is something new for them to explore. When you are a leader and all the kind of people you have are people who sit down and lazy around, your leadership will be a product of lazying around. When you have people who come to you and are innovative, your leadership will be about innovations. Look at it in your house. Every day, they ask your father, what should we cook? He say, okay, what do you think? They say, rice. Okay, cook it now. They say, there is no gas is finished. We need meat. Okay, and then your father says, how do we get it? He say, we have to go to the market. Go now. We need money. Where do we get it from? From you. Oh, I don't have. Ask your mother. And then you grew up for 20 years hearing that. Your father lost his position of fatherhood. All a man can do at that is to give birth. But that doesn't make you a father. That doesn't, it just makes you a bad giver. So when we are talking about competence, it's proud, it spreads around everything that life has to offer. You want to have 2 children? When you get married? Okay, how would you take care of these 2 kids? Your level of finances and your level of competence gives you a particular financial threshold that says it's 1 child. When you have 2 or 3, you can't perform in their lives. It's calculation. There are people who started work somewhere as security men. Now they are close to becoming management staff. Because while they work, they felt they can't be competent enough to be who they are in life, remaining at the gate. So they saved. They went to maybe a polytechnic. They got a college degree. After that, a diploma. After that. So as they are working, the work is bumping them up. They're getting elevated. They are becoming knowledgeable. And then they are performing. Because some people have knowledge, but they cannot perform. It's all by itself another thing. So, if you understand competence, what is competence? We work in Equa Television, but let me tell you something. Everybody is working real hard. Everybody is working real hard to impress the system. Everybody is working real hard. You have different departments, you have different units, you have even in government. Some people work real hard. The world is bombarded by countless competing messages every now and then. Every now and then. It's beyond the information to your trade. And you have to understand, performance is not just being informed about editing. It's not just being informed about being a GM. It's not just being informed about management. It's not just being informed about being a producer. It's not just being informed about being an Uber rider. It's not just being informed. If you want to perform, you have to answer the question that everybody has and provide solution. That's what a performer is. We don't know a performer by you just speak, and then that is it. A lot of people are very, very fast in letting us know what the problem is with Nigeria. A lot of people are fast in analyzing who is a better politician. A lot of people are very fast in telling you how the system cannot work. A lot of people are fast in letting you know how that you are not leading well. A lot of people are telling you you are not a good presenter. A lot of people, but who has solution to my problems? Who? So if you keep coming to me to let me know how that I cannot perform, just one day, come to me or come at me with something that can make me a better person, a better performer as a GM. If you do this, you will get this result. I try it, it doesn't work. I stop listening to you. As a presenter, you can be this way, you can be this way, you have to be this. Anybody that is not performing more than the level that he started when he was given the job has exhausted everything within him. And right now, nobody in the world has the permission to fail. There's YouTube there to teach you. There are thousands, millions of people telling you how to do everything every now and then. There are online classes. There are people that are willing to mentor you with or without a dime on you. So if you fail in any area that you stride, you just chose not to be responsible. See, when we started this year, I called every staff, and you were all there. And then I said, everybody has to be a professional. And how many hours did I say you have to invest a day? 12 at least. 12 at least. What time do you come to work?
8.
What time do you close?
Right.
How many hours?
12.
No, how many hours do you spend at work?
8. 8 hours.
8 hours. So if you take out 8 from 24, what's left? 16,
16.
right? Okay. So what happens to the 16 hours remaining? I'm not just asking you, I'm asking everyone that's watching the show to understand that there are people who the only time they take a break is maybe to take a leak, grab some bite, and come back to the desk where they work. And people tell you things like, you don't have a life. All you do is work, work, work. Like, okay, yesterday someone told me, say, you are not the only busy person in this life. Someone told me that on phone yesterday. So I pleaded with the person. I said, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Right there, I blocked the person because it's a terrible energy on me. It's not good. It's not positive. It's not healthy. We have great people in this world who can afford, they can afford to be anywhere at any time. They can afford to eat anything anytime they want to eat. They can afford to buy anything to wear. That goes to tell you that they have reached the level of influence, affluence, and they have everything in life. But guess what? These things don't count to them. They want to stay in power. They want to remain in power. They want to ever be productive and be in the realms of affairs. Now, these are the people that are controlling the world. In your thinking, how many hours do you think they sleep? In your thinking. Elon Musk has like the whole money in the world. He does. The guy has money. But sit down with him and ask him how many times, he doesn't even believe in God. Ask him how many times, how many hours he sleeps in a day. Now, the more these people make these monies that are crazy in number, the more they work. The more they are thinking of how to acquire another big company. The more they are thinking of how to acquire. They want to buy everything that the world has. Now, why do we at this level disregard competence to an extent that we have time to sleep? Why? See, a little sleep, a little slumber. What does the Bible say?
Poverty will bounce on you like a bandit.
Like a what?
Bandit.
Okay. Do you understand my point? People tell you things like, be resting, one day you will crash. Why? I am not created to rest. My friends, be resting, one day you will crash. I'm not created to, I'm not. Everybody knows, like, okay, recently someone was saying, you have always been this way, Seth. I think it was just yesterday or so. He said, you have always been this way, that if you stop being this way, what will happen to you? I say, no. You see, when people say, take a day or two to rest, I have said it even on air. When I rest, I fall sick.
Sure.
My body is not patterned that way. But you find there are people that want to come to work. They don't mind if work can close at 3 so that they can. Only God knows what they are going to do. It's fine. People can be that way. There's nothing wrong with that. But you see, people who complain about staying back at work to do a lot more, they have reached their threshold. If you have not, you want to invest on work. Have you ever been to a bank, a banking hall? Yeah. Do you see how serious they are? That's not how they are naturally. But the work that they do entails for them to be that serious. Why? They are dealing with things that are not theirs. if you make one mistake of paying her 1,200 against the 1,000 she requested, you are paying for it. And bankers will tell you, you have to look good. You have to like have a car. You have to do this. You have to do that. So, if you are working in Equa Television, for instance, hosting today's life, what is the level? Don't even think about going to CNN to work yet. Don't think of going anywhere else to work. Think about how you can make today's life better. It's growth. When today's life becomes bigger than what it is now, let me tell you something. Your knowledge, nobody, there are people that worked in Equa Television and have left. We didn't follow them to remove the knowledge that we pumped into them. Rather, we are like, God bless them wherever they are. You see, knowledge is for you. When you build competence from within you, it's for you. In fact, when two of you stand to make a presentation, people are rating you. Like we're on this show now, people are rating, this seller, this girl, wow. There are times when you are not on the show, you see comments now. People ask, where is seller today? They notice. Where is Joyce today? They notice. Where is Solo today? They notice. That like your place is empty at that point in time. They notice. But look at yourself now. You got to a point where everything, God forbid that I get to a point where everything work becomes regular. God forbid. But people are like that. People don't care. The higher you go in life, the more you will have opportunities to stay back at work. With these few points of mine,
Yeah, true.
I want to sip my drink and catch a breath.
Honestly, because when you look at the word competence and performance, especially in a place of work, permit me to say that you cannot perform if you're not disciplined. Because it takes discipline for you to be hungry and thirsty for more of knowledge. And not just to acquire the knowledge, but how can I use this knowledge I've acquired over time to be able to do something? Nobody cares what you know. Nobody cares how much of what you know.
In
But
fact,
people
it's
want
personal.
to see how are you able to use what you know to make lives better for people around you. How will you be able to use whatever knowledge you've got over time to make sure that things are moving? If there's no growth, excuse me, the knowledge you've gathered is useless because nobody can even feel the impact of it. And that's why we see that even in places of work or even at home, we're being rated based on our performance. Because if you're not able to do anything, you're being labeled as being, either if it is a government, failed government, if it is at place of work, you have failed. And then that is when people begin to see their vacancies because they want to just terminate you at the point in time because they cannot feel your impact. Of what point is it that you fill the space and at the end of the day we cannot even feel your impact? Because impact is something that is very important. We've mentioned here in the show where we said that you hear somebody saying, I have 15 years of experience, I have 30 years of experience, but yet nothing is seen, like there's no growth in your life, like you've just been there from the very first day you've been employed till date. No responsibility can be added to you. Why? Because the little we've given you, you are not able to do anything about it. So how sure are we that when we add more responsibility to you, you'll be able to carry it? Or how sure are we that you're saying, okay, let's give you the president, let's give you the governor, yet that little position you hold over time, nothing can be seen. We cannot even feel your impact. It was as if we have been the one leading ourselves. Why? Because we didn't even feel that we have a leader. We just felt as if you've just been a boss staying there. And that's why I always tell people, I don't like calling people who are ahead of me my boss. I prefer to call them leaders. Why? Because I want to follow after what you've done. Because you are leading, you are at the forefront, I'm following you behind. So it's not about boss, do this, do that. No. But are you doing something that I can follow after you and said, okay, yes, I can see there is the quality in your work, I can see the quantity in your work, and I can see that there's efficiency in what you're doing. Because we cannot talk about performance when we don't talk about efficiency. How efficient are you what you're doing? How can we feel your impact? Yesterday we spoke about character. We cannot talk about having positive thinking or negative thinking, or we cannot even talk about any other thing without talking about what your efficiency. We cannot talk about your character. That when you're working with me, in my performance is not just about what I can do, but how can I also use what I know to also make your life better? that can Lois say that, yes, okay, after Sele have been in this office, I could feel that there's something she impacted in my life. Because I really, really see that you cannot talk about performance without talking about impact. Impact is something that will set you apart from every other person. Your character is what people will remember you for. That the moment they mention your name, they begin to see, how were you working? Did I make work favorable for Lois? Did I make work enjoyable for Lois? That when I'm not at work, Lois want to know, said, are you okay? Or she's like, thank God she's not here today. At least I'll have some fresh air. So we really need to look at that when you talk about performance, not how much you're able to achieve, but how well are you able to do that thing that has been placed in your hand. It's one thing for me to give you work. It's another thing for me to see that you're able to do it. And that's why we see there are times that you're being given a form to fill what you're able to do, like an assessment form. It's not about the work you've done, but how good is it? I remember there was a form that was given to us where you feel whether it's 10, 9, 8. It's for you to actually rate yourself. So will you be able to say that, okay, this month, we're in June now, from May to June, what have I been able to achieve? How competent have I been? My performance, have I been performing all around? Or there's a place in me that is lacking? And that's why I said we have to talk about discipline. Because if you're not disciplined, you'll not be able to do anything. You'll not open yourself to correction, because people are beginning to, maybe critics are coming in to tell you, okay, you're not doing this. You need to be open to hear what people are saying, because if you're not open, you'll not be able to perform in any way. Whether it's as a father, as a daughter, as a mother, even your relationship at work, we need to be open. You need to be disciplined, because if you take discipline out of a man's life, then you know that you're about to go your doom, actually, because there's nothing that can be given to you. You've already reached that point in your life where you've closed the door for knowledge, you've closed the door for learning. And if you're not open to learning, then just like we said, a little sleep, a little slumber, poverty will bounce on you, because you're hungry. What is it that you're hungry about? Not just about food, but there are more and more that we need to be hungry about if we want to be performance at every point in time in our lives.
I think competence is just, I said earlier, you being adequate. And now I want to add that you have to be knowledgeable. That's competence for me. But then whatever you're knowledgeable about, how do you use it to achieve things? How do you put it into practice? Like, how do you use it to do tasks, achieve tasks? So, like, for instance, now, like you said earlier, we were giving forms to fill in. You can fill in the form and say, if they ask how good can you do this thing, you can put 9, you can put 10. That's you rating yourself. But when other people rate you, do they see that 9 thing? when they look at your performance, do they see 9, or do they see?
I thank God this is coming from you. I'm happy. Go ahead.
Do they see 9, or do they this? Why did she even write 9? Meanwhile, she's not even doing what her performance is not up to that. So even when you're rating yourself, you should tell yourself the truth. Am I really performing well in this area or not? You have the knowledge. You should use it good. Use it in a way that people will see and appreciate. That's why sometimes you hear people say, I want to call this person. Do you think she's good? Is she good? For instance, now, ladies, if we want to make our hair, we'll ask a friend, tell her, do you know this salon, can she make hair? Is she good in what she does?
In other words, you are seeking to know her competence.
Yes. Can she do it? Can she deliver? And then maybe Stella will be like, okay, this old, she knows how to do all those olden days kind.
She's not up to date.
She's not up to date. And like engineer has mentioned earlier, he said you have to be up to date with the current things that are happening. The technology, everything is fast moving, things are evolving every day. How good are you in doing, in whatever you say you are capable of doing? Do you do it very well, to the best of your knowledge, best of your ability? How good are you doing those things? So competence is really deep, and performance, they are really deep, especially in relationship. When you read books, of course, some of us read books, we listen to messages, and we listen to people that are experienced in some areas. You've listened to them. Okay, in the relationship, how do you do those things? How do you put them into practice to make your relationship even better, or to do things differently from what you've been doing before?
Permit me to say that I think, and another thing I think is important, is focus. If you're not focused, you'll not be able to achieve anything. And you know, most time when they will say, what is your perspective about certain things? What do you see? What is your long term goals? These are part of the things that we look at when you talk about performance. You mentioned the part that we need to be up to date with what is happening. That means you should not be satisfied with where things are. You should be craving for more. But how focused are we if we're saying that you need to be a performer in every part of your life? Now we have to look at focus. There are things that, okay, people will say, we've been saying you need to be, you need to be, you need to be. Are there reasons why somebody cannot perform? Somebody can say, law doesn't make the environment favorable for me. I don't have the resources that is expected. But there's something we say, we have no reason whatsoever to say that we cannot perform. The YouTube is there. The Google is there. Whatever you need to learn, you need to Google that. Now, are there other reasons? Let me take the place of work, for instance. We can say that things are not, or there are times that we have meetings and they say, how can I make work more easier for you? What are you liking? What will make you to bring out that deep thing? Okay, you say you're competent, you say you're knowledgeable. What can I do for you more so that you'll be able to bring out better results? Because we're talking about good, better, best. You're better, but I want you to be your best. Now, there are things that people will say, I don't have what it is, especially in place of work. Maybe the resources are not there. Maybe people's attitudes is draining me, or we're talking about character, or we're talking about, I just want more out of life, but things are stopping me from performing. Now, what can we do to be better performers when it comes to whether it work, family, relationship? What more can we do to be more performance in life?
Just like we've mentioned earlier, like you opening yourself to learn more things, like craving to know whatever skill or whatever discipline you're into. How much do you want to learn more of that particular thing that you're doing? Like you have to watch. We said we have the YouTube. You can go to YouTube and watch different videos about that particular thing you think you need to upgrade your knowledge about. Watch them, jot down some of the notes you think you need, and all of some points that you need that you can actually go back to whenever, maybe later, and look at it, read it more, and all of that. You can look for books and still read. You have Google. You can Google some of these things online and then read them. You still have mentors. Like earlier, some people want to mentor you even without you having a dime. You can look for all those people that you think are knowledgeable in that area to help you out, so that you can add up your knowledge and be performing more in that particular area and discipline that you are into.
Mind elevation is very important. You have to elevate your mind, your thinking, your reasoning to a very higher level. You most of the time you find people becoming the environment where they have dwelt in for a long time. You become that environment. So if you see yourself as a Kuba Road person, your mind will be around there. If you see yourself as a Rayfield person, these are a particular kind of areas, your mind will be around that place. If you see yourself as a Maitama person, your mind will be Maitama mind. If you see yourself as a Lugbe person, your mind. If you see yourself as a Victoria Island person, if you see yourself as an Ajegule person, your mind has no mind on its own to bring things into it. It's personal and self determination that picks up things and keeps in the mind. The mind is just available for you to dump trash, for you to dump reasonable things. The mind is available. Oh, the mind will not reject anything. The mind does not have a mouth to say, don't keep this one here. Oh, no. It will welcome everything. But you see, anything that you store up in your mind, it will be translated in your behaviors before long. Because the person who comes to work from work is 8, but the person is always at work at 7. Work closes 6, but the person is closing 30 minutes, 1 hour extra. It's his mind that tells him. He tells his mind, this is what I want to be doing. And the mind has accepted it. So the mind will keep reminding him. When he picks his back at 6, he says, no. You have 30 minutes more. You have 1 hour more. And you see, Some people are not just dormant. They are recruiting other people to be dormant with them. You talked about people like bringing their incompetence out to say, I do not have this. The system did not provide for this. What you are doing to yourself is 6 years later, after you've left that place, you find out in the new place that you have been empty for 6 years. And there's nothing else, there's nothing more rather to give in the new place. Anything, I would always say, like you would always hear me say, whatever you do for your growth, yes, it will be seen in your place of work, but it is for you. It's yours. It's yours. People are bothered about other people's lives more than they are bothered about their own lives, as if God will ask them about the life of another person and not theirs. No, when God wants to judge, say, okay, seller, I gave you 5 talents. What did you do? Lois will just say, sir, you see, that's what I was telling her. No, that's not how it works. I don't even know. I don't know how judgment will be. I'm still asking for, maybe if they will show me small, how the judgment will be. Maybe all of us will come there, or they will say, you should just stand in one room and tell us what you did. Or you, or everybody, or we don't know. But the Bible says God will judge everyone according to what he has done. See? If you are bothered about the system not being productive, so you too will not be productive. The system that is not productive, sure, the system will die. When the system dies and you have not been productive, will you not die too? Because you've been unproductive. Now, certain times I sit down and I look, I say, okay, I've been doing this thing this way for this long. I don't want to disregard how I have been doing it, but I want to embellish it, because nothing will change. It's just embellishment upon embellishment. Things keep looking finer on top of what was there. See how people build houses. It's becoming different. See the materials being used. They're becoming different. We don't see that conventional zinc anymore. Now they have what they call long span roofing sheet. We are not seeing it anymore. We are seeing the shorter ones. Every now and then something new will come. They are all roofing. They are all roofing materials. But people use different types. Even those who have the old ones, when they get money, they make it look new. But what happens to people? People just sit down and assume that it's okay. And somebody tells you, I've been a cleaner in this place for 28 years. Are you serious? You are not craving for a better life? Once in a while, think about being an executive for once. Yes, have that, nurse it. Nurse the feeling. Once in a while, think about it as a presenter. One day I want to be head of programs. Okay, Joyce is not hearing us, so don't worry. I want to be head of programs. Of course, even if Joyce is hearing, one day she should say, I want to be GM.
GM wants to.
Me, I want to be ECWA president too. Or maybe it's anywhere else president. Your president, I'm sorry, after your tenure. But it's good to aspire. I want to be a governor in my state one day. I want to be a president of Nigeria one day. But you see, I don't want to go there with the regular capacity that everybody goes in there with. I want to go there, and 8 years, Nigeria is looking like America, or almost. I'm not talking about physically looking. I'm talking about in every ramification: economy, beauty, lives of the people, infrastructure, every ramification of it. So until I have that kind of capacity, I don't want to be there. But you see, people are very comfortable. You are a presenter in ECWA television, but think about it. There is a knowledge you will come up with. We can't help it but make you a producer. We can't. Because we will know that leaving you as a presenter, we are wasting you. You have something that we should take you higher for you to give. One day, ECWA will find out, this GM, he's doing more than what a GM is doing. Maybe let's add one more department to him. He can handle it. It will come to pass. One day we're thinking, this guy is performing more than our CSO. He's the person we should make the CSO. I watch most of the time. There's never been a time where I saw the American president like live, but I see most of the time there's just one person walking around him. He's not armed. One person just behind him, one person following him. Nigeria, my country. Nigeria, my country. A governor in Nigeria, we don't know how many people are always around him. You see, you don't need, people blame their inadequacies on inanimate things. Like, my computer is misbehaving. My car did not start this morning. People have become multi-billionaires before the existence of computers. How did they do it? People have been rich when you could see a car drive past, and until another 2 hours, another lorry will drive past. Some people have been millionaires since then. Since then. Why are you thinking right now that your success is solely dependent on a computer? They say garbage in, garbage out. That is what the computer on its own, even if it's made in heaven, cannot give you beyond your capacity to create, cannot give you beyond your capacity to ingest. Personal development. Yesterday I said you have to be madly in love with who you are. You have to start thinking, how can I develop myself? We are looking at a very significant topic today. In fact, let's look at the performance side of the topic. Let's look at the performance side of the topic. You are not performing not because you have the knowledge, but you are hiding it. Anybody that has a knowledge that is hiding, it's not a big knowledge. It's not something that people cannot do without. It's not. Knowledge does not take a very long time in our recent times to expire. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have an information that you are hiding. Government will pay me money. Before 12 midnight, somebody will bring something better and give the government for even free. So, when you say they will look for this thing, they will not see it. There are several ways to deal with issues. Except you are not innovative. Except you are not innovative. I have a clear understanding. Right now, if you sit me down and you just say, describe your chief editor. Wow, I'll just finish. Describe your head of programs. Wow, I'll just finish. Describe Evangel Arts Manager. Wow, I'll just finish. Describe transmission, head of transmission. I'll finish. Why? Because I know them. I work with them. I know their threshold. I know their strength. I know their weaknesses. There are things I am looking for somebody to do. I know who to call. Now, I know their performance levels and I know their competence. So, when I'm looking for something that I want the world to be marveled when they see, if I have time, I know who to look for. If I don't have time, I know who to look for. You see, it's when you talk about performance, everybody has a level. And there's nothing wrong with having a level of, everybody has a level they perform. But the point is, how comfortable are you on that particular level of your performance? Think about it. Every day, we have a show on Equa Television. It's called From the Dailies. What is left of From the Dailies if people don't produce papers? Because it's basically a newspaper review. So, news comes every day. Every day. By 4 a.m., the papers are ready. In fact, before 4 a.m. And think about it. Some of them have their press in Abuja. Some have it in Lagos. But within the hour that the news, the papers are ready, they are all over in the country. Think of the level of the competence of these people. Think about it. From the generation of the news, to penciling it down, to editing it, to making a final draft, to proofreading, to sending to the press, to printing. Who has time to leave office with this kind of work? Tell me. Who has time to travel for wedding with this kind of work? Tell me.
Right.
Who has time? I just want people to understand that there is something that the African culture has done to us that is not an acceptable standard globally. I'm telling you, there are certain things you feel if you don't do, these things will not happen. They will happen, and in a week's time you'll be fine, even if you don't attend. But we feel, my neighbor's child is getting, and that's the neighbor you complain the most about. This one is this one, but the daughter is getting married. You're asking for 4 days at work, so that you travel to Otukpo, do the wedding, and go to do the Senfort, and go to what's the name of that, Konshisha, and come back and do the wedding, and then you even ask for Sunday for Thanksgiving. Let me tell you something about a friend of mine. He got a very good job, very, very good job, a driving work that was paying him almost 300,000 every month, a driving job with a telecommunication company in this country. One day somebody was getting married in their village, so he told his immediate boss, he said, please sir, can I use the Hilux vehicle to go to the village for a wedding? By Saturday after the wedding, I'll be back, or at most Sunday. Then we can go to work on Monday. The boss said it was fine. The boss gave him money to fuel the vehicle to and fro. Brand new vehicle. He traveled to his wedding. There's no cell phone network at his wedding, at his village. He traveled, and then they said, and our brother, you are from the city, or you have a car that can help us park Gara. You know, Gara, the things that they bring with the woman, right, you know, to her house. So they pleaded that it's on Sunday evening they used to do that thing. That please, he should help them pack the things. He packed the things and left very early on Monday to Abuja. He got to work. His sack letter and that of his boss was already waiting. His boss that did well to give him the car and money for fuel. You see, when you start thinking that everything is pardonable, it is not. You'll be fired and you still be friends. Now, it's not even, the boss is rich already. The boss sent him money one time to buy a car and do transport business. He's rich already. But what about him? What about him? I have a friend in Lagos who deals with broadcast equipment. And the lady I'm going to talk about, she watches this show regularly. She just doesn't comment. She's a Muslim. One time we had a deal, and I was in Lagos for about 6 days, and every day I was going to the office and we were talking. And then she said, Oga Tony, this abroad that you people used to go, like it's just Abuja to Lagos. One day I will call you and tell you I'm abroad. I said, yes, it's possible. This morning I was chatting with her. It's not just that she traveled abroad. She got a very good job. She's determined. She was pulled into the media broadcasting business. She's in Canada. She has a very good job. I was even teasing her. I said, they have given her a work, and we laughed. But look at how she is fulfilled. She said it. She saw it. I didn't ask her which capacity. She knew her capacity. I didn't have to ask. And I'm not saying that everybody has to travel abroad. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, where you are right now, what have you given? What are you giving? What more will you give?
And permit me to say, performance also is not just about the feeling. It's one thing for you to feel, I feel like, but what will actually make you to perform is your commitment. If you're not committed to it, you cannot perform. In fact, you cannot even be graded as you performed anything. Why? Because you've not been committed to it. I remember in the topic with you, I said, we don't work on feeling. If you truly want to bring out results in life, it's not about how you feel.
No.
I feel
there are days you don't feel like coming to work.
But you have to come to work. Why? Yes. Because I'm committed to it.
Have you felt that way before?
Sometimes.
Okay. Did you eventually go to work? See, the feeling is irrelevant, because when you feel that way or you don't feel, you have to go to work.
Do it.
Because even as GM, there are days I wake up I feel like just being at home, but I can't. I'm obligated to be responsible. Imagine that I just call you and say, have you done today's like, but it went like 20 minutes late because we had technicalities. Who cares? Say the show was up. Please, when you close, call me. If I keep saying that, what will be of the station? There's nothing. You see, let me tell everyone and anyone that is watching that is a leader or you intend to be a leader, if you don't offend people, you can't be a good leader. You don't just wake up with the mind, let me go and offend them. No. What do I mean? Sele, when you get it wrong, let me punish you. Yeah, haven't I punished you several times? But we'll sit down on the show as if nothing, as if I'm a good person. We'll just sit down and be, but I've punished you several times. It hurts me to see myself punishing people that are matured. But the punishment is not so that you can be ridiculed or brought to nothing. No. Have you ever been punished 10 times over one thing? No. Next time is a different punishment. And we grow. You think I don't get punishment from our guys at the top? I do. Recently, I received one self. It's on my table. I've not replied. But I will. I get punished regularly. But I will never say, see, this is just what I did, or they punish me. Just this thing. No. Your eyes are not the same as that of your leader. They are not. They are not. The way you see Equa television, Sele, whether you even if God has a bed in your house, it can never be the same way I see it. It can't be. You are not the one with the anointing for the leadership here. So you can't see further than me. You can see, but you can't see beyond that table, that place that you are, that your round dining table. You can't see beyond that. That is all you can see. But if I start telling you the things I see for, okay, what is the building of Equa TV that you picture? I wake up every day thinking we need to have like 8-story building where one floor is for editors, another floor is for script writers. I'm thinking that way for Equa TV, and it's before long. It will come to pass. But you every day you wake up, this is my show, national talk. That's all. But think about it as a GM. I'm thinking about your national talk. I'm thinking about the person that will edit it. I'm thinking about the guest you are bringing. I am thinking about the sound. I am thinking about the picture quality. I am thinking about how you will get home after the show. I am thinking about her own show. You don't think about her show. And I think about your salary. I think about your well-being. I think about everything. I think about the security man. I think about everything. There are certain things you don't even remember they exist in Equa television. But eventualities will just, we even have this kind of person here. Why? Because your head is wrapped around your work. But my responsibility is not just here. It extends even to people abroad. I told you recently how I want to be on every smart TV. How I want to be on all that. So, the same way when I'm telling you you are wrong, it's not the same way she will tell you you are wrong. You see? So, I can never receive a letter from my superior saying I did this thing wrong and I start blaming them. Even if I know I'm not at fault. I will not blame them. I would apologize and I'll move on. Sure. That's how life is. So people must understand, and I understand that the timekeeper is talking to the co-debaters about time. And I understand. But people must understand that it's a concerted effort to grow.
True.
You have to be deliberate about it. Like we talked about negative thinking. Sometimes all this negativity, they stop us from performing, like doing our work as we should. So we have to do away with negative thinking and then being deliberate about being competent and also be able to perform in your place of duty, in your relationship, at home, and all other areas you find yourself.
Yeah, we have quite a number of comments, and I'll quickly read through them. We have from Mizzy Adams: you can do his work and fall sick. When you give God reasons, he keeps to his promise. Thank you, Mizzy. He added another by saying the reward of good work is more work. And we have Genesis Agara. He said competence and performance are both achieved from action. The earth is always moving. Time is always ticking and is always moving. God is doing something new. So if the key thing in life are moving and an individual is stagnant, then you will never be relevant. Paul advised to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Thank you, Genesis and Missy, for those very meaningful and impactful, comments, because you really cannot talk about competence and performance without you moving. Just like we said, the world is revolting, so you need to be transformed, you need to be renewed, you need to know what can I do. And that's why we say you don't work on feelings. You have to be committed. If you want to really perform, if you really want people to see you as a performer, then you really need to be committed to whatever is given unto you. When you do well in the little given unto you, believe you me, people will see that in you. Even if you don't see it, people will see it, because there's definitely going to be fruits coming out of your work, and people will give you more and more responsibility to carry out. And thank you so much, Engineer Tony, and thank you so much, Lois, for doing this with me. And this is where we have to call it a wrap on the show today's life. It has really been impactful. I learned a lot, and I hope you actually did too. And we really want to appreciate the Echo Executive. I really want to appreciate them for giving us a platform like this, because it's really been great and wonderful. And actually, we've been 4 years on air, so it's been God's faithfulness towards us, and we're hoping to do more and more for the Lord, because we need to really advance the gospel to every part of the world. Well, until we come your way again next week with yet another impactful topic, have a blessed day and a happy weekend ahead too.